Hello, everybody. It is the Working Group LTS meeting on July 29th. Haven't met in a while. Everybody's been busy with 134, which is done now, right? And we didn't have a lot on the agenda, but we have something on the agenda today. So, Rita, do you want to walk through what you put together, kind of following up from what we talked about a few months ago?
Yeah. You can share the doc. Oh yeah, okay, cool.
Yep.
Yeah, so from the last meeting where we had, I think, the amount of people, one of the suggestions was, hey, what if we start with a set of best effort patches in a folder for the CVs? And what would that even look like? So this is a proposal for that. Again, this is a very early iteration. I started the talk yesterday, so very rough, but at least we can get the conversation started. So by no means is this a final or uh it hasn't gone through a lot of reviews. So yeah. So the TLDR is we're not changing uh support model, support policy. This is not meant for that. And we're not touching embargo CVs. We're not touching um, non-security bug fixes, right? So the non-goals are very important here. And we really want to create this solution to provide a way to give people public patches for older non-supported Kubernetes versions for like maybe another year. And the details are below in terms of implementation suggestions. And I just want to highlight the goals a bit, right? Is we want to extend the existing SRC responsibilities to help review these community-driven public security patches. Liga is laughing because this is very intentional. And we want to make sure that we have minimal impact, right, for CI and infrastructure burden on the project and the maintainers. And again, for now, this proposal focuses on high and critical CVs only. And we again want to separate the official releases supported versions from these community maintained patches.
Yep.
All right. With that, let's maybe before we go into the specific proposal, is everyone okay with the goals and non-goals? Because I think in the comments I saw things like, what about the GoBone checks? And I just woke up, so I haven't gone through all the comments. Yeah. Is everyone with the it's docs? I mean, I think docs I think below we talked extensively about making sure we document the differences between these community-driven patches and the official releases, manage people's expectation that you're using this item risk kind of thing. But that's as far as like the warning labels for docs. Like what?
Yeah, I think in the past, like the docs, the SIG docs folks were asking, like, does this mean we have to maintain docs for more releases? And so making that an explicit non-goal, like we're
Oh,
not.
okay,
I
okay,
think it was just let's explicitly.
okay. Make sure it's non-goal. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I can add that, or you guys can add it.
Yeah, I
Suggestion.
think everyone has access to
Yeah, sounds good.
suggest or add or comment or whatever. Um, yeah, so I would say there's no expectation that the website is like
No,
releasing these older things. This is just like, if you know, you know. And if you're looking for patches or looking to contribute backport patches, here's where we do that.
uh, okay, so if there's no other comments on goals, can you click on the highlights
Oh,
Yeah, this is
Mike was
just a
asking. Oh, go ahead.
yeah, I was just poking at like not I'm not disagreeing. I'm more just like wanting just so that we can clarify, are we saying high critical just in Kubernetes itself, not as, if there's a XNet, Golang XNet, you know, critical CVE, do we patch for that or not? Just so that we have an explicit stance on dependencies.
Yeah, my expectation would be that these are patches for Kubernetes source, not for dependencies. Like people who are applying these to their own tree so that they can build stuff can just as easily, go get an updated version of a dependency that has a vulnerability fix. Like, so pulling in these patches for Kubernetes source and using standard Go modules, go get whatever version of whatever dependency that has whatever security fix you want, and then do your build. So um, that's what I was sort of expecting. Does that match what other people are thinking?
If it requires like bumping Go, would you add a patch in here for anything that's required to bump Go?
I mean, that's a good question. We should write that question down and think about it.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was I had that in the comment.
Is someone taking notes of our discussion here? Because there are good questions. I can't present and take notes at the same time. If someone can write the open questions so we can.
Do we want to just put them in the doc?
Yeah, I can start at the bottom. Is that a good place to put this?
Yeah, if we want to
Okay.
take notes of the discussion. So the questions were like vendor dependency updates or Kubernetes source updates. And I think we would say this is for patching Kubernetes code. If someone wants to patch dependencies, they have a way to do that using Go module stuff. Then the question was, if a security fix requires a Go update, would we have patches for Kubernetes changes required to pick up a Go update? I mean, the goal of the compatibility version stuff in Go was that you should, as a rule, be able to build, old modules, depending on old Go versions, with a new Go binary, and the Go runtime will stay like runtime compatible. So I would hope you could build like a 1 year out of support Kubernetes branch with the latest Go minor, and it should just work. And if it doesn't just work, the Go team has said like we'll consider that a bug, and we'll fix that with like a Go debug compatibility switch. That's the starting position. So hopefully we wouldn't need changes in Kubernetes in order to build with a new Go. I guess if we find a thing that does require a change for some reason, would we accept a patch in order to build with a new Go? Maybe. We wouldn't want to do it in a way that forced you to build with a new Go, probably.
Maybe
So,
just a note that we retain the option to make whatever adjustments we need so that building is possible.
yeah.
Like reserving the right to do something is not us guaranteeing we'll do it. We'll just do it if necessary.
Yeah.
If we're going to be public, if we're going to be careful about our language, I wouldn't say allow, because that suggests that we would allow somebody who isn't SRC to come out with this patch, right?
I think,
Like, who would we take patches from?
well, Well, I was reading community driven to mean we'll take patches from
Okay.
anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ideally, they're like adapted patches closely resembling the same patches we already merged to release branches, but they'll probably require some fix up sometimes.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. Why am I in suggestion mode? That's silly. Am I suggesting? Can I edit? You want to share with edit to the working group?
Sure.
Well, I mean, it's up to you. You feel free to
No.
keep accepting hundreds of suggestions.
Can someone give me the mailing list?
The list, the group.
It's just wg-lts
LTS.
at Google Groups.
Nope, at Kubernetes.io.
Oh, okay.
I think we'd probably want to structure a change like that in like a Go build tag gated way. So you had like a Go 124 file and like a pre 124 file so that it wouldn't force people to build with a new Go. I don't know. Thank you. Works with new Go. Okay. Other people feel free to like add things to capture the discussion at the bottom as well. Do you want to just sort of work through comments top to bottom, or are there other things that were top of mind that people wanted to? Oh, maybe we.
Yeah, let's go through the comments because I think that's more.
Okay.
I assume everybody read it, so.
All right. You mentioned it being in Kubernetes. I actually think a distinct repo would probably be easier to manage.
That's really funny. I went back and forth. Like I was thinking there's more work for creating a new. Again, I'm fine either way. This is just a proposal. It's just who's gonna maintain the thing is the question.
I mean, if literally all it is folders with .patch files, then.
Well, no, right? There's also below. There's also like minimal PR gates, right? Yes, still minimal, but I'm trying to remember the one reason for if you can go to the bottom, the alternatives. I think in there, I think I mentioned something about. Remember, I think in prior conversation we said if it was in a different repo, traditionally we haven't done a good job maintaining CI in a different repo. That was comments from somewhere.
I think that that was Mo's point, I believe, was that the CI would deteriorate and we would have problems.
So that's the concern.
Well, I think the CI we're going to run on these patch files is not the same as the CI we run on Kubernetes master. Like we have, 8 or 12 or I don't know how many pre-submit jobs now that run on Kubernetes master, and they will not test anything about these .patch files. And so we would be running a bunch of expensive CI that doesn't actually do anything with these patch files. And then what we do want to do with these patch files, like if you add in a 1.30 patch, we want to make sure the stack of patches applies to the 130 branch and probably smoke test something like, it builds or something minimal like that. Like the stack of patches applies cleanly to that release branch and it builds, or whatever we decide makes sense.
I think that's basically called out down below in the section. It's there's basically like a high level testing strategy for new security patches, and it's got like a real high level bash script that looks like it applies the patches and then just runs make to verify.
So it's like the CI we would want to apply to this folder is completely different than the CI that we're doing for Kubernetes. So if we're concerned about CI deteriorating, like, I don't know, we have to maintain this one check, but it's a check that only applies to this folder anyway. So
Yeah, I mean, I think this is pretty low maintenance in terms of problems. Like, when's the last time that we changed how like the make target ran?
Yeah.
Other than the patches
Um,
breaking and not applying, I think that's the only thing that we would have to worry about.
So the kind of deterioration we've seen in the past is when we tried to keep like parity with all of the CI that's running in Kubernetes, right? Like these 15 jobs we want to run against this other repo over here rarely. And I don't think that's what we're talking about doing for this.
I mean, I guess something as simple as like Go. Like someone has to go bump it, right? It's not what I'm saying is it's not zero effort. Yeah.
It's not zero, but it's pretty low.
Yeah, again, I'm just being a devil's advocate. I'm happy either way.
I mean, if we, I don't know that we do need to bump Go. The devil's in the details, certainly. But the more minimal we can make this, the less there will be to maintain.
For sure.
So, but
Need to update.
the other point to this, the CI we run on Kubernetes doesn't actually apply. The CI we want to run on this would be different. And then the main thing is like sometimes we freeze Kubernetes master branch for like a month, and it would really suck to say like, we don't want to merge patches here to tell people about them because Kubernetes master is frozen for unrelated reasons.
That's fair.
So
I would say
Okay.
that third one is the most compelling because when we're trying to put one of these in, it's probably for a reason and we don't want to wait.
yeah.
These
I
are
mean, we
going to
can
be
always
on,
make exceptions during code freeze, but it feels sort of, it's like it's friction we don't need to put it in a place that gets frozen 20% of the time.
sorry, I missed, like these would be on the release branch, like release 130. So why does freezing
No.
master?
No,
Oh,
this
sorry.
wouldn't be. Yeah, I explicitly call that out. It would not be part of any because the release branches are basically frozen too once they're out of support. So we just pull from them, apply all the patches in order, in an order fashion, so that we can test the new patches.
Okay.
But that's it. We don't do anything beyond that.
All right.
Is that not clear enough?
I hadn't read this before the meeting, so I'm catching up.
Saying that explicitly somewhere is probably helpful.
Okay.
The way this is intended to be used is people take the release branch as it was frozen at the end of life, and then apply these patches on top of the release branch.
Yeah, I'll put it in non-goals just to be extra clear. Yeah.
Sure.
No changes on the old release branches. Yeah.
All right, working through.
When we finish a comment, are we ready to resolve it or are we still working through some of those content?
Once the content gets updated, we can.
Okay,
Please leave them so I can update.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, great.
But it resolve if no action, I guess.
Yeah. I see you're skipping ahead, but I do want to point out that I'm worried about saying extending coverage, even though we explain much below that it's limited. If we don't explicitly say it's limited, I'm a little bit worried that some third party will read the summary and go, awesome, there's another year of coverage.
Yeah. Like making best effort patches available for or something. Yeah.
I just want to be a little bit less expansive and promisey.
Yeah.
Coverage, yay.
Yeah.
Yeah, limited seems fine for summary.
I mean, I would be even more like best effort patches makes it super clear. Like you can't report vulnerabilities against out of support miners. You can't like, it's not, we're not covering it. We're not running all our CI against it. We're not.
So offering best effort patches. Cool.
Something like that. Like, yeah, the fewer places we have to like put an asterisk beside something, and then like,
Yeah.
So we expect someone to read the details to understand what they're actually getting. Best effort security patches is a lot.
Yeah.
I don't think it's useful to distinguish between 12 or 14 months. Like the cutoff point is, are we willing to merge changes into the release branch or not? And as long as we're still merging, like if we got a security fix in the last 2 months, we would merge it into the release branch and cut the final release. So before that point, we work in the release branches, and after that point, we take patches here ad hoc. So how is the additional 12 months? Like I don't really have a strong opinion either way. Is this just an attempt to like bound the review work on the SRC side? Like if was it Canonical is like, we're going to support minor versions for 10 years. If they were cloning the commits back 30 minor versions for those 10 years, we're like, we're happy to stick these patches in a folder if you want them. Like, what's the thinking between saying just one year passed? Is that to sort of match what most people are doing for extended support, or is it to bound review work, or what's the thinking there?
The additional 12 months.
Yeah.
It's just the same verbiage that we've had in the past for support windows, right?
Yeah, I think it's to bound review work, just because like it's in addition to review work. I put questions below, but like, do we still issue CVEs? Do we still include in the bug bounty? Maybe yes on CVEs, maybe no on bug bounty. I don't know. I'm just saying like there's additional work besides just the review that we got to scope. So I think.
Well,
Yeah, go ahead.
and I'm happy to put that in non-goal. Like this is why one of them was extending embargo CVE patches to include out of support versions. Right? Like if we're not even doing that, then I feel like we're not expending the SRC's responsibilities for like reporting CVEs either.
Okay. I think maybe we'll just get into this one.
I'm trying to reduce the scope of this guy. Like
Totally get
maybe
it.
to your point, maybe that will change in the future, but that should be a separate cap in my mind. Because this is addressing a specific problem, whereas that opens up a whole can of worms for other things. And we don't have other SRC members to speak here.
Yeah. If all we're doing is like reviewing .patch files and putting them in a folder, then like obviously there's review work there, and it's useful to bound that so we don't get someone patching stuff back to 1.0. The more things that we glob into this, like vulnerability reports or bug bounty or CVEs that only apply to out of support miners, like they're fixed in all, they don't exist in newer miners. The more stuff we glob into that, then the more work it is, and the more important it is to say, nope, this is when we're going to stop doing this. I guess I'm skeptical. Like if you give a mouse a cookie, like people aren't happy with 14 months. They want 2 years. Like, all right, fine, you can have another 12 months. But I will not be surprised if at the end of that someone's like, but I have these patches I want to make available. Why won't you accept them?
What about 24 months?
Yeah, right. I don't feel strongly either way. If we want to bound it to this, it seems fine. It feels a little arbitrary when really all it is a code review and a merge of a patch file. But if we want to bound it, that's fine.
But that isn't all it is, right? Because one thing we haven't talked about yet, I think I put a comment somewhere. Yeah, if the changes brought in by a new patch breaks something with old patches, like basically the matrix of interactions between everything that we're putting together in a build is non-trivial.
Yeah, I actually don't think we should address that matrix. I think it should always be a stack that has to apply cleanly, and new stuff goes at the end.
Yeah.
And so it's always the responsibility of the newest thing coming in to like apply cleanly and build and like be acceptable. That I think it's madness to say like you can pick and choose some of these things and we're going to make everything work with everything optionally. Like that's insane.
Yeah, that seems impossible. So I'm glad that you're seeing it this way.
Like if you want to, I mean, because this matches how we work in the release branches, like during the normal release process. You know, you backport something to an in-support branch, it has to apply cleanly ahead of the branch, and yeah, and if someone wants to pick and choose, they're certainly welcome to, but they may have work to do to deconflict stuff, and that's on them. Yeah. So I think we would probably or maybe want to tweak how
Wait,
we.
sorry, before we jump to this one, can we,
Oh, yep.
I want to conclude the last one. Originally when I put 12 months, again, it's just to get the conversation started. I think we need to have some type of deadline. And so that at least, let's say CI would just check, you know, is the thing past the 12-month mark? If so, we just like the bot would just tell you, sorry, like this is outside of our policy or something like that. Like I wanted something to at least get it. Otherwise, to your point, it can go unwieldy.
Yeah.
I mean, again, let's start with 12 months and then see what happens.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we can point to survey results. We can point to many major providers that are like, yep, we support it for 2 years. I mean, yeah, we can link to evidence if we want to, or we can just take it as a given. I'm fine with it.
Yeah, if you folks have the links handy, if you don't mind pasting, that would help me a lot.
Sure.
Yeah. The only, I'll be honest, the only survey I found was like the really old one from like 2019, and then I did think about adding it, but then I was like, no, this is too old.
It's ironic that the survey showing that deployed versions are outdated is itself outdated. Anyway.
Yes.
It just had a really old version of this survey deployed. All right.
I mean, this working group did a survey too, right? So maybe we could use that. But yeah, if y'all can point me to that data, it'd be great. Thank you.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Jeremy probably has it more handy than I do. I was scrolling back looking for it.
Yeah, I can find it. I think the prod readiness survey thing also has decent information about what people are running.
Okay. I don't think we need a lot, just enough to for that section. That's it. Because we want this to be a cap, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a process cap. So yeah.
Okay, cool.
All right. So dependencies.
So I can add this to the bottom.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, to the non-goals.
One other question: when we say CVEs, do we want to say security issues because we're not going to issue CVEs? Or
so like a frequent pattern is someone reports a CVE that actually applies to all miners. Like it's present in current miners. And when we report the CVE, like we say,
I'm being pedantic about the CVE acronym, like an actual registered CVE versus a security issue. If it's a CVE in an existing version, yes, it's a CVE. If it's a security issue that's specific to a dead branch, then it's just a security issue that doesn't get a CVE.
I was thinking a public recorded CVE, like in
maybe start with actual CVEs. Okay. Most of the ones that we're dealing with are like CVEs that exist in all miners, even to current versions. Right. Have a fix, and it's like we had the patch, but we stopped applying it to backporting at this point. Maybe start with that. It just gets really fuzzy when someone's like, "Oh, this like out of bounds thing. It's a security issue because you can DOS a thing by like." I don't know. Maybe start with CVE. If things crop up, we can revisit it. if we feel like we're missing valuable changes because it's like, it's not a CVE.
Yeah. Well, I do want to highlight one thing, like all the points that Micah and Jeremy are raising, like I want to make sure we don't end up doing this, but then it's not as useful to the consumers. So yes, I know we're saying let's start with something, right? But then if y'all as the consumers of this, right, if y'all think there are critical things that if it's not there, this is not useful, please, please, please raise your hand. The last thing I want to do is like do extra work and then it's not that really that useful.
Yeah, like actual CVEs are a crisp bar. Is there a reason for bounding it to like high and critical? Like if there's a medium CVE in Kubernetes code that we fixed and we have a patch for, that
There's no
actually
reason. I just want to start something.
Pull back. Like when you start looking at dependencies and like 300 dependencies and trying to pull in dependency updates, that's crazy. But if we're saying we're not actually going to deal with dependency updates, you can bump those yourself to pull in whatever you want. This is for Kubernetes code.
I'm with medium.
Or even low, honestly. Like
Really?
I don't know how many CVEs do we issue for Kubernetes code in a year on average? Is it like 10, 8, 10, something like that? I don't feel like we have a staggering number of them in actual Kubernetes code. Like
not very many.
Kubernetes SIGs stuff gets things occasionally. Dependencies get stuff frequently. I just don't like in the interest of being useful to if there's a medium or low Kubernetes code vulnerability and someone's like, hey, we backported these like 3 more releases, here's the patches. That seems fine actually to merge in.
I'm fine with that.
Scoping it to Kubernetes code, I feel like is the thing that will make it the most manageable and well scoped. Go ahead, Jerry.
I would say I agree with that. Scoping it into KK code and scoping it into security patches and like being extra clear about that so that we don't end up with people trying to give us, hey, here's a patch to fix this bug that I want to bring back from 133 to 127.
And maybe we should, when on that point, to your point, Jeremy, we should be explicit about this is also not about performance improvements, because people get really excited about this improves performance. This is, great for our cogs or whatever. And it's like, well, there's so many things you could improve, but how many of them are you going to improve in old things as opposed to just getting people to move to new things?
So yeah, not that many. It's like 8 or 9 from last year. Again, very rough, right? I'm not like looking at all the dates, but so update to any except any CVE, Kubernetes CVE.
That seems fine to me, and it's community driven. Like if nobody's interested in it, if it's a low, like super low severity one, and no one actually cares about it because it's like in some like kube control command that no one actually needed to worry about patching. It's like it's low severity, it's client side, we don't care. It's community driven. If no one proposes backporting it, then it doesn't get backported. That's fine. So do we issue CVEs? Is it in scope for bug bounty?
Yeah, we kind of answered this that we wouldn't cut, or I guess we just need to be explicit. We're not going to cut new CVEs for dead versions.
So,
or CDE, like because you could have a CDE without bug bounty, we could separate those two.
Yeah, that's our current policy. I would stick with that.
Yeah. I'm not saying we should change it. I just wanted to be explicit.
Yeah. did this, yeah, I like the prefix idea. So that like just lexigraphically patches sort, so you can literally like git apply or whatever and you just glob all the patches in the file, and they like that's what our CI job should do, I think. Like you change 130, check out release 130, git apply star under the 130 folder and make, and it all has to run cleanly. All right. I think that's even how Git will generate patches.
It will.
Yeah, I think so.
We do that for all our internal patches.
Yeah, because it's simple and sane. All right. I'm just going to go to, if someone stop me if they want me to stop, but I'm just going to go to hit comments. Yep. I would maybe just simplify this to run make and like build everything instead of trying to be clever and try to figure out like what's the minimal set of things to try to build. Like just whatever the simplest make target we can do is that like builds all the things. Yeah.
Okay.
But, so the simpler we make this script, the
Less it'll break.
more likely it is we will never have to change it.
Yeah.
Minimize. Yep. Cool.
Do we want the SRC to actually own this, or should this be like a separate like set of reviewers? Because it doesn't. I mean, the SRC would be coordinating with them for sure, but does it need to be the security committee?
For like if we're looking for like a SIG to own code or patch files code, I don't know. SIG security feels like it's the only SIG I can think of that sort of slots naturally under. So maybe SIG security.
I mean, SIG security seems like it makes more sense, but I don't know. Jeremy, what do you think about SIG release?
I don't think this has anything to do with creating release artifacts, so it doesn't really fit under SIG release.
Yeah.
And when we say code, we mean the scripts.
I mean, it's code review. It's reviewing patches and committing them.
Yeah.
I mean, are you suggesting SIG security will do the review and approval? I still think SRC will have more context here.
SRC will have context on the patches because they just coordinated review of, presumably coordinated review of the same patches for the maintained release branches. I mean, the scope of review is like any code anywhere in Kubernetes could be getting touched. And so which SIG is going to have the expertise? Maybe all of them. The owner has to be like the coordinating thing. So security responsibility makes sense for the coordination. An umbrella SIG like SIG architecture or SIG security, if you want to tack a SIG owner on the repo, maybe.
Yeah, I'm thinking of like, so my question here is also based on like we have at Amazon internal folks who are doing these patches already internally, right? And I'm sure that there are other providers. And I know we would they'd be happy to, and we could sign them up to be reviewers on this, right? And they don't have to be on the security committee to do that.
Yeah.
That's kind of why I'm like, I'm poking at this to say, do we need to limit it to just the SRC people to be the reviewers on this?
These patch files aren't like getting built and released by the Kubernetes project. I think the coordination is the only thing that matters. And so having SRC own it and pull in like subject matter experts who presumably also did the reviews on the release branches as they feel like they need to, like like the LGTM approve distinction, like I would say SRC has approved and they should pull in people from vendors or people from distributors or people from upstream, or like to say like, I'm not sure about this. This changed from what we merged into a release branch. Can you sanity check this and LGTM it if like the code looks good? So rather than trying to represent every possible reviewer as like an owner of the repo, it's like what SRC already does with the security repo. It's like, we have a fix for this CVE. We're going to pull in a subject matter expert and have them like do the review as needed. And if the backport didn't actually change, like if it applied cleanly back one version and the backport didn't have to change at all, then maybe you don't need to pull in someone in. You're like, oh yeah, we'll just copy the patch back. But if it did change and had to be deconflicted, like get eyes on that as needed. Like mechanically, I don't know if you've ever had a committee own a repo, but I don't really care.
Yeah.
Because this is
I mean,
like files that we're not building and releasing. Like it's all about just coordinate the patch, publish. I don't.
This is just a suggestion. We can also remove it.
Yeah. I want to make it easy for reviewers to shed load after 12 months. To say like, no, this is more than a year old. We're not pulling stuff into this miner anymore. I want to make it easy for people to do that. I also, if we get like, you know, the next critical, you know, 10 out of 10 CVE, and it's like a one-line nil pointer, like I don't want to be dumb and say, nope, we're not gonna pull in a patch for a critical thing. Like I want to leave discretion there. So I wouldn't bake in the blocks to like CI jobs, so it mechanically won't let you merge a thing after 12 months. But having a clear policy that says, like, our standard approach is to decline merging stuff 12 months after end of life. So you could make that a README. You could I would probably start with it just in a README, and I expect the traffic to this to be low enough that trying to build automation around forbidding merging to folders older than 12 months is probably not worth it. And then if something crazy severe and exceptional and super easy to backport a fix for comes up, you have the discretion to say, like, we're going to make an exception to our standard policy and pull this into like the last 10 folders because we're reasonable people. Yeah. it's easy, like start easy and small, and then if volume becomes a problem and there's confusion, like we can look at automating stuff.
Makes sense. Okay, so I'll remove all the archival stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think we'd want to keep those patch sets sitting there like forever, because if people are maintaining, if Canonical is maintaining their thing for 10 years, it's useful to have like the first year with sort of, maybe this would be useful to them, maybe not, but I don't think there's any reason to delete the folders. Yeah.
I think there would probably be benefit to other folks as well that run extremely old versions.
Yeah. And like if we just cross-link to like the Kubernetes IO page that lists, here's the minor versions, here's when they hit end of life, here's the dates we're basing these things on. Like that's just cross-linking is helpful for people. All right, I think that was all of the comments. There was a little bit of capture discussion here. We're about out of time. Anyone that have any last minute thoughts or things they didn't get a chance to leave a comment for?
Just kudos to Rita for getting this doc going. What are our next steps? Are we going to get this edited up and put in as a KEP? Like, what's the thinking?
I really want to share this with SRC. Again, I created this yesterday, so I haven't had time. So let's do that and then see if there's any like concerns, since we're asking SRC to do more work, right? So, and let's say if there's no like big concerns, then I'm happy to create PR for the KEP. Where does it go? Like, where does it go under? Like which?
I mean, we need to figure out who's going to own it from a KEP perspective.
Yeah.
I don't think we have anything for SRC in there. Like, I don't think there's anything they would normally own. Probably, I think the suggestion for security makes sense.
But then that would mean like SIG security needs to approve the KEP, right?
Yeah, we would have to talk to them first, I think. I mean, I think we could also, you could open a pull
steering
request.
Wants to,
like we could open a pull request and like add an SRC
folder
under here and like see what happens. Steering, I think, would have to wait.
Yeah, steering would have to approve having an SRC folder in there, but
getting the goals and the non-goals super crisp. So it's very clear exactly what we are doing, and like all the things that the more things we can put in non-goals, the people are like, we can't possibly contain this. Like, yep, not a goal. So making that as clear as possible, and then going to like sort of the key stakeholders. So SRC, obviously, SIG security, maybe SIG architecture, maybe SIG release. SIG architecture and SIG release are kind of like FYI, especially for the release side. It's like we're not actually planning to do releases, but like this is a thing we're thinking about. So, but we're not planning to do releases. So more of an FYI for some of them, and then the ones that would actually do work, like SRC, we definitely need an ACK. And then the ones that it sort of intersects with what they work on, like SIG security. Like, does this make sense from your perspective? Would you be interested in having this merge under your KEPs folder? Even though you're not really owning it, we can figure out where to put the markdown file. But communicating with those groups is what I really care about.
Yeah, I'm just taking notes. Can you go to the bottom of the doc? I put the as open questions. And you said new SRC folder requires steering, right?
Like I mean, we just mechanically KEPs are attached to SIGs, and so
right. I'm just saying that's the one that requires steering, right? Not like, or are you saying this whole thing requires steering?
No. Like if we have like a process KEP that doesn't really slot cleanly under a SIG, like just asking steering, like how do you want us to handle this?
Okay, gotcha.
Update goals, non-goals. Maybe once you update this doc, especially like the goals and non-goals, folks can do another pass and just like make sure.
Sounds good.
SIG security, SIG arch. I think SIG arch is like FYI, and SIG base is like FYI, because we're not actually asking those SIGs to do anything, but
Sure.
them being aware would certainly be helpful.
Sure. All the things.
Okay,
All right.
thank you so much.
Bye.
Talk to you later.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.